I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing that's under 100. I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing that's under 100. I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing that's under 100.
Yeah.
You know what it is. You know what it is. You know what it is. You are in PE
What
with
it is.
Dave and Jay, where we build while we build. That's my guy, Dave. Yup.
Yeah, no.
I'm your boy,
Yeah, I got the
Jay.
weights ready today, bro. I'm ready.
Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? It's today is Dave's birthday. Woo! Happy birthday,
Flag.
brother.
My
Hey,
man, appreciate it, man.
thank you, Ma Ruby. I just call her Ma Ruby. You created a real one today. Thank you. Thank you for
You
pushing
know,
Dave
another
out.
trip,
The
another
world needed him.
another trip around the, yeah, another trip around the world. Man. I
Yeah,
mean, another
man.
trip around the sun, rather.
How you
You know what I
feeling,
mean?
man? How you
Hey,
feeling?
man, nah. Look, I feel great. You only as good as you feel, right? So I'm doing very good, man.
You look
I'm
great,
healthy.
bro.
I'm feeling good. I appreciate it,
Yeah,
man. I'm just
yeah.
maintaining, man. Like I said, another trip around the sun, man. Ain't nothing to it, man. We don't really ain't celebrating these days, man. I'm just enjoying the day.
I'm celebrating, bro. I'll celebrate. Hey, man, you getting old though, man.
And shout to my brother too, man. It was his birthday yesterday, man. We're 8 years apart. It's crazy. So yeah,
Oh yeah, that
his
is crazy, man.
birthday was
Oh
yesterday. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's wild.
it was D
Wow.
Gordon's birthday yesterday too. It was D Gordon's birthday yesterday too. So shout out to
Oh,
D.
yeah,
Yeah, man.
my man.
Yeah, he was one of our first guests. So for our workout buddies at home, shoot some comments. Tell Dave happy birthday. That'd be dope. By the time y'all see this episode, though, by the time it airs, it's gonna be a lot closer to Father's Day. So today we figured, Dave is one of the best fathers that I know. So I figured we might as well go ahead and do a
Right.
little Father's Day episode. Just talk,
Nice.
fatherism, father to father, brother to brother, and get some arm workout in at the same time. All right. So
All right.
thank y'all for
Speaking of,
joining us. Let's build while we build. What you got, Dave?
all right. Speaking of arms, we do a tricep bicep circuit, and then we'll start, man. We'll do something called a supination curl. All
Uh-huh.
right, man. So we talked about this before on the show if you guys watched, man. But look, so when you flex your bicep, man, and you take it one way, I don't know, I really can't see on my screen, but like you take it, your bicep tends to flex with the movement of your wrist. There you go. Show them at home. There you go. That's a good example right there. Boom. So with this
Uh-huh.
exercise, man, in order to get that rock in the full extension, man, this is what we're doing. We're bringing the weights across the body, and we're ending up here. Okay.
Yep.
And then we alternate sides. All right. So I recommend using light weights for this because you don't want to tweak your wrist. You don't want to go too heavy, right? Because then you won't be able to maintain the proper form throughout the workout, man. So boom, that's where you want
So
to be. All right.
when we lift, is it a hammer when we lift right here, and
No,
then
no,
a
no, no.
twist?
Yeah.
No,
It's more like
across the body.
if like sometimes when folks are doing normal dumbbells and they kind of have
Uh huh.
the dumbbells in a parallel to each other like this,
Uh huh.
opposed to just having it come straight out like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you pretty much kind of correcting that as you come up to the
Mhm.
boom. There you yeah, you see that?
Yep. I feel it
Kind of
too.
yep. That'll give you a good pump on the
Mhm.
arm. Yeah. That's a good
Cool.
isolation. Not I'm sorry, not an isolation, but that's a good compound as far as the arm is concerned. And
All
then the
right.
next movement, man, I like to try to use the same weights for the triceps and the biceps just to just for efficiency, man. So the next workout, man, all you're gonna do is you're gonna lean it over. You guys seen this before. You want to keep your back straight. You don't really want to be too wobbly, right? You just want to keep your back straight in this form. You want to keep your elbows parallel with the back as well. Boom, and then you're just stretching them out and bringing them back. See, my elbows don't move as far
Yeah.
as the plane, right?
Oh
So
yeah, I feel that. All right, cool.
yeah, so
What you doing? Max
all
rep
right.
on that?
Nah, I'm gonna do maybe a 8 to 10 with I think I'm gonna do 12 to 15 with
12
these
to
weights
15.
here. I got
Uh
35s
huh.
here, so I'm gonna do 12 to 15,
Uh
and
huh.
then yeah. So I'm
That's
I'm
what I
looking
like.
for low rep. I'm sorry, high rep, low weight.
Got
That's
it.
what I'm gonna work on today.
Get that high rep, low weight pump. Got you. All right, Dave, yes sir.
Burn some calories. I know.
Yes sir. Yo, so in honor of Father's Day, and honor your birthday, Dave. I just wanted to, commemorate you, man, and celebrate you, man. You're a dad of three, and I've seen you in action, and people ask me, when people, if somebody asks you, hey, it's nice to meet you. You meet somebody for the first time, and they say, what do you do? That's a common question. What do you do? And most times, what do people say? They'll be like, well, I'm an engineer, or I work for the postal service, or I'm a personal trainer. They automatically say what they do for an occupation. It's like a way of kind of sizing people up to see how much money they make, right? Right. But I like to take a different approach to that. When people ask me, what do you do? The first thing that I say is that I'm a father, right? And
Nice.
and a husband, and so I've seen Dave in action, man. He takes fatherhood very seriously. I mean, how do you feel about Father's Day? How do you feel about Father's Day, Dave? You feel like it's real?
Look, man, it's funny, man. Father's Day is, opposed to, okay, we're talking about opposed to Mother's Day, right? Father's Day, how come we get all the stuff that when we got to work? You know what I mean? Like when we get, we go all out for Mother's Day, man. We go crazy. You know what I mean? We buy them stuff that they want. They buy us stuff to go fix stuff or you know what I mean? Like is that what we're worth? You know what I mean? Like we get tools. Because I love tools. But and I got a dope a birthday gift today, bro. I gotta put you on, but
Yeah.
But like for Father's Day, that's all we get is like work. We get more work to do. We get things to do work with. You know what I mean? Like crazy shit. So so I don't know. I don't know if Father's Day is as far as tradition, the commercial side of it, is whack for fathers. But Father's Day, man, it's dope. I mean, it's an opportunity for the family to kind of pay homage and take a step back and look at what the father's role and appreciate it, man. It's cool. And if you're a good father, man, you reap the rewards of the day, man. You know what I mean? So I could appreciate it, man. I could dig it. I'm not big on holidays myself. But I could appreciate the love, man. I could appreciate the sentiment. You know what I mean? It's pretty chill.
Yeah. I never thought about it. Actually, I never thought about it in terms of the actual gift that you receive. When it comes to, I thought of like, fathers tend to get ties and wallets and shit like that. But I never thought about the fact that like, we get tools and stuff, and that's kind of like, it's kind of like buying your wife a set of pots and pans for her birthday, right?
That's work.
I mean, if she a wife that's not a chef, you know what I mean? Like, so I guess if you're you're a carpenter, you're a contractor, so buying you a tool that you didn't have, which I don't think is possible, because like I've seen your workshop. You have everything in the workshop.
Nah. They got me this year, bro. They got me this year.
They got you
something that I don't have. And what was cool about this, man, is shout out to the fam. This is something that on the humble, because it's really hard to shop for people that have like you just as far as my workshop, but like right. So like they're peeking over the shoulder, man. And that means more than anything, right? They're peeking over the shoulder, like what I'm interested in, and I'm looking at, and I was like, kind of rock me this year, because what ended up happening is they left it out, and I saw it, and I was just like, immediately, I was like, oh, like y'all bugging out, right? And they was upset because they didn't prep, but still though, I mean, it was one of those things like, that's thoughtful as hell, because it was just like on the humbug, like, you peep this is like revolutionary. So what they got me was, it's a tool that pretty much measures your board as you send them through the miter saw. So to get an accurate measurement every time to the blade. So all you got to do is roll. It has a wheel on it, and all you got to do is roll the lumber through, and it measures it. You know what I mean? So when so to tell you exactly where you need to be cutting, instead of like taking the measuring tape out every time and marking.
I've seen you do that too. I've seen you do that. It's time consuming.
So yes, this is definitely an efficient tool, man. It's awesome. It's just it's one of I mean, you don't need it, bro, but it's a nicety, man. It's you know what I mean? It's one of those things that makes the job a little bit more fun. So it's really
shout out and salute to the Ruby ladies. That's dope. Yeah, got it right.
Very dope. Super dope.
But you know, yeah, that's under the guy. Well, not that, but I'm saying what you were saying earlier is under the premise that men are supposed to work and fix and you know stuff like that. I think for Father's Day, last Father's Day, I think my wife bought me a firearm. And that goes hand in hand with what you're saying. You know, it's like here, motherfucker, protect. I asked for it though, so you know, my wife was pretty good about getting me the things that I want.
So you gotta look. You know what, man, and you gotta give them credit, right? Because we're not the most open with our feelings and our desires and our our wants too. Like like we'll see a nice car or something, like oh man, a nice truck or something. But like let's be realistic. But like
let's be realistic.
The little nitnoid stuff, like what I got, like things like that. Tools under 500 or whatever have you. Oh, I'm sorry, tools, but like gifts under 500. That's the thoughtful stuff, and that's the stuff that really counts. Because
it really
nobody's.
Is, man.
So yeah, I definitely appreciate it, man. That's like I said, I saw it. I was kind of rocked, like, wow, I didn't even, I didn't even know that she was paying attention. So,
so would you say this is the best Father's Day gift you've ever gotten?
I don't know. I just, I really can't put them into, I can't really classify them like that because, like I said, all of them had some form of thought, some form of, you know what I mean? Like some love. I mean, well, a lot of love in it. So I can't really say.
Which is the best? Yeah.
Nah. Like as far as gifts, maybe this is probably going to be the most useful, and it's probably going to be the most long lasting. You know what I mean? Like I could say that, but best, I can't really say best.
Yeah. You don't want to diss all the cards that you got from them when they were.
Oh man, and all the little drawings and you know what I mean? Like the homemade cards and stuff, man. You can't, you can't beat that actually.
The noodle necklaces and shit.
Yeah, the macaroni. Yeah, man. You can't beat that actually. That's just priceless.
Fuck that. Keep y'all macaroni, man. I want an expensive gift.
That's why.
I'm just joking. But okay, so like Father's Day, man. The little history about Father's Day. A lady by the name of Sarona Smart Dobb. Maybe an S on it. I can't remember. Sarona Smart Dobb. Since I'm chopping up the name, I'll put her name right here. Her dad, she's the one who started Father's Day. Of course, it came after Mother's Day, but she started Father's Day in 1910, right? And in Spokane, Washington, at a YMCA. What she realized was that there was no, what was it? There was no celebration of fathers. And her dad, William Smart, I'll put his name here, was a Civil War veteran. Now, I'm not going to celebrate the man because I don't know what side he fought on. All right. So if he fought on the side that I support, then yay. If not, then at least we got Father's Day out of him. All right. Well, he was a single dad back in the 1800s, the late 1800s. He was a single dad of 6 kids, bro. And his daughter, Sarona, she wanted to celebrate her dad. So she wanted it originally to be on June 5th, his birthday. And she went through the Methodist church and convinced them that it was important to celebrate dads too. So she got like the Methodist pastors together, and they were gonna like plan this whole like Sunday service to celebrate dads. That's why it ended up becoming the third Sunday in June rather than his birthday, because they were like, yo, we can't. Yeah, we were like, we can't have everybody prepared by June 5th of this year because you just had the idea, but we could have it ready in a couple of weeks. So, but what's funny about it is like, it was like, it didn't become an actual national holiday until 1976. Like it was, so she started it in 1910 and it didn't really catch on. Like 10 years later in 1920, people still weren't really celebrating Father's Day like that. It was really just like a Washington thing. And it wasn't until like the 1960s when people started widely, like nationally recognizing it. And then Richard Nixon in 1976, I think it was, he signed it into law that it was a national holiday. And that's wild to me. Why? I mean, what you think about that? That it took that long Mother's Day already existed now
Uh,
before 1910, and then
right. I mean,
it took another 66 years for the nation to be like,
it
yeah,
goes on
this
how
makes
true.
sense.
Yeah, like I said, it goes on how, I guess trivial or how fathers are, I guess, really looked at. Because I mean, like again, a man is supposed to not be, you know, it's not supposed to show emotion, right? So these
Yeah,
things don't matter. Like a nice car to, those things don't matter to a man. You know what I mean? He's like,
right.
yeah, go on your way. You know what I mean? So I get it. It took a little bit of time before, I guess, I guess now this is, everyone's in their feelings in this day and age, right? It's okay
Right.
to show your emotions. It's different, So, yeah, I guess it makes sense now. But back then, yeah, like the man's like, you're going to spend a whole day, celebrating my fatherhood. Like, shut up, get out of here. That's what I'm supposed to do. Like, right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Right.
not,
Yeah.
I know that's vague, man. I know it sounds kind of wild, but yeah, it's like, what are we talking about here, man? Like, let's get out in the field. Let's get it, let's stop playing games. Like, I
But
don't
you
need
think
to,
it was you think it was
yeah, it wasn't,
it, you think it had to do with more with what fatherhood was viewed
yeah,
as to why like people were like you're supposed to do this like
yeah,
you don't you don't
yeah.
get there's no national holiday for paying your bills. There's not a like, yeah, let's celebrate that you paid your bills
Well said.
every right. You
Well
know, it's
said. Yep,
expected.
exactly that. Exactly that. Like, again, it's the participation trophy thing. Again, it's like, bro, like, take care of your business. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a father, right? Like, I get it. That's internally, man. Father's Day could be every day. It depends on what you appreciate. You
Mm.
wake up in the morning, you see your kids flourishing, whatever, man. Father's Day, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's why I said, like I said, I'm not a big holiday guy, man, because I think it's just, kind of a ploy to get us in the stores. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm just so against, establishment at this point in my life, man. I can't stand it. I can't stand the mind control. So I just don't buy
It's
into it.
totally it's totally a ploy. In fact, like
Yeah.
it's written in the history. Like what she did, what Serona did was she went to like Thai companies. That's how she because it didn't take off right away. People weren't just like, yeah, let's celebrate fathers. They weren't like
Yeah.
that. They were like, you're just trying to do this because there's a Mother's Day. And you're trying to do it so that it'll be commercially successful. And she was
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, well, I believe that she wanted to honor her pops because she felt like she had a dope ass father, right?
Right.
But the way that she got it to take off was promoting it through companies, Thai companies or the same shit. All the stuff that is standard, like tool makers, people that make hats and shit like that. Like she went to these companies, and those companies started doing adverts for Father's Day. Like, what are you gonna get your dad for Father's Day? Buy him a nice tie, or you know what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
shit like that.
Jigsaw.
So yeah,
Like,
yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That it's all about commercialism. Although it is nice, it is nice to get presents and shit. All right, like Christmas is a hugely
right.
commercial holiday, but I'm not gonna skip it.
You know,
You know,
flowers are big on Mother's Day, right? And then Home
Yep.
Depot and Lowe's, that's the big stores. Those are the big stores making moves on Father's Day, right? Like, so like I said, I think it goes back on, back onto, our wants and desires and what we actually put out there in the universe. I mean, we're kind of like steel traps, as far as our emotions. So it's hard to really like. But again, I got to give props to my fam on that one though. They called me off
they killed it.
guard.
Yeah, they killed it on that one.
Uh,
So
yeah,
what I did, man, what I did this year, what I've learned to do with my wife, because what I used to do was, she'd be like, "What do you want?" Like a month in advance too. She'd be like, "What do you want for such and such? Whether it's my birthday or Christmas or Father's Day, what do you want?" And I'd be like, I don't really need anything, because that's how I'll be feeling at the time, right? I don't have like a wish list, unless it's like a
right.
car. I would like Panamera Porsche or a Tesla
Of course. That's what
or
I'm saying.
a Ram
It's
15.
that under 500. It's that under
Yeah,
500,
yeah, but
threshold, man. It's that,
under 500, I can
yeah,
get it for myself. you know, uh, I needed some new AirPods. I mean, I need some new earbuds. I got some too. They
right.
dope. You see those? I'm gonna put the
Yeah.
platform. Anyway, um, I'm getting for myself. But what I started learning to do was, I mean, because what happens is if we leave it up to our wives, to get us the under 500 gifts, they're gonna feel bad if they get the wrong thing, and we're gonna have to go through like either not telling them we don't like it. I mean, we either have to go through tell them we don't like it, or not wearing it or using it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a mess for everybody. So what I started doing was just telling her, like searching something that I might want. Like workout gear. I need some new tank tops. I need some new shorts and stuff. So I just was like, yo, I like
Yeah.
this. I like this. I didn't tell her, yo, go get me workout shorts and workout gear. I didn't tell her that because that leaves it still too vague. So I like went and searched some stuff online that I wanted. I just sent her the cart, and boom, easy. Father's Day is the commercialism of it is taken care of,
Yep.
and I made
Yep.
sure that I made sure that my cart was under $60. You know what I mean? So I didn't give them too much, and nice and taken care of. So workout buddies at home, fathers, make it easy on everybody. You know what I mean? Tell your wife tell your family what you want. Or leave a list or something like that. It doesn't make you any less of anything. It just makes it easier on everybody.
Or you could listen. Right now, see, because like it's weird. The kids, the family, the kids, they brought home board games. You know what I mean? And so the procrastinators, and we're working on it, right? We always say we're gonna do stuff, and then we get the plan together, and then when that time comes, we're like like it's one of those things. So we've been talking about doing that game night, like on a regular basis, and then we never really even got. We went out and bought a couple of things. We bought like the Uno cards and stuff like that, and that was pretty cool. It was like I forgot what it was called, but it was like this little machine, and it divvied out the cards. And, yeah. And that was fun to play. But then we got caught up on the video game Uno, and then so it was like, all right, man, that's cool, but we're not in the same room. We're not in the same. You know what I mean? So we want to be able to see the emotion and see each other's faces when we slap each other up. So now we got the board games. They went out and bought the board games the other day. So stuff like that is important to me because it's like, all right, we want to spend time with each other, right? We want to fuck with each other. It's like every time, every time we do go out, it's like a different vibe. You know what I mean? Like we went out, something stupid just for smoothies the other night, just chilling. And it was just bugging out in the car. And I was just like watching the whole thing, like, man, it's so good to be back home again. It's like, man, these times are necessary. We, with COVID, everything, we've been cooped up even more, but it's just that fresh air and then seeing your folks in a different light was kind of pretty chill to see. So
that one is dope. So I look, I got some sweat beads. Oh look, you like my new water bottle? Can you read that?
Yeah, right. But you're here now. But you're still here. Right?
I'm still here. Yeah, it was with hard workout, but you're still here, right? Man, I got a good pump on that. What we got next, bro?
All right, so you see what I'm doing now. So I'm doing the underhand curl. Underhand
what
curl.
We calling that?
All right.
What are we calling that?
I just call it I don't know, man. It's called an underhand curl, man. Because what I'm doing is I'm coming across the body again. Right, and I'm just coming about chest height, and I'm leaving it there, and I'm coming back down, alternating. You want to use lightweight on this too, and this helps get the forearms, and then helps kind of try to define that your bicep on the outside edge of your arm.
Yep, I feel that.
And then as far as the tricep, I think I'm gonna go with I'm gonna do a side try rise, man. It's another little workout I got from Tony Horton, and kind of lay on the ground, put this arm on top of your shoulder here, and you just kind of lift up the top end of your body.
So no weight.
No, just kind of push up.
So show me that move again, Dave.
All right, boom. So you here on the ground. This arm is what we're gonna be working. This arm is going to be stationary on the shoulders, right? Legs straight out in front of you, okay? And all you're doing, man, is doing like a push-up, but on your side. And this tricep here is gonna be running the weight of your upper body.
Okay.
All right. So
oh yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
And try not to come all the way down. You know what I mean? Like a push-up.
Yeah.
Don't hit the ground. Yeah, if you hit the ground, see that's the
Yeah.
extra. Yeah, that's the extra.
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
very
Damn.
effective workout. I don't like doing it because I got a shorty wingspan, like a Kevin Willis wingspan, bro. I'm looking crazy over here, right?
Nah.
But yeah,
He's like Kevin
that's what
Willis.
they make the arms look big, right?
That's hilarious. Kevin Willis.
My buddy
All
used to
right.
always tell me that, man. He was like 6'5", man, and he got me working out in the service. And he said, man, you short guys always, you guys are lucky, man. You got them little shorties and shit. Y'all can look big in a week, man. I gotta,
He
we
said
got a
no
longer
week.
way
Yeah,
to
he got
go up. So we could be lifting
yeah.
this, we could be lifting the same weight, but you're gonna be looking bigger than me. So that's crazy.
Yeah, it's
But you know what?
compact.
I'm
The
a
muscles are
relish in it.
compact.
I'm a relish in it. I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah.
take it.
So when you mentioned stuff about I'm sorry, the rep set. We of course we're doing 3 reps. We're gonna keep it 15, 12, 10. How you
Yeah,
want to do
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. I'm doing
All
me.
right.
I'm doing low weight, high rep. So I'm gonna stay
High
around
rep, yeah.
15. I'm gonna stay around
Uh-huh.
15, or to the point where I feel like you
Yeah,
want to keep a
exhaustion.
number in mind, but if you can go more, go more. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I feel like I can go more with
absolutely.
this weight.
So when you mentioned you mentioned, you know, how fathers are viewed, right? One of the things that you mentioned was emotionalism, right? And shout out to your homeboy. I know you were telling me earlier in the week you got a homeboy who grown ass man, but he was like, you know what, I'm comfortable being emotional. I'm an emotional guy, and I'm comfortable being
Yeah,
emotional. And I think that's
yeah.
dope, man. So shout out to your buddy, because I don't know. I just think the whole macho thing when it comes to men or us telling our boys that they shouldn't cry, I just think is bogus, man, and it leads to violence and all types of unnecessary things, right? Um, but when it comes to dads and emotionalism, right? why,
Wow.
why are you laughing, man?
No, I laugh. I laugh. No, because that shit's profound, man. Like, think about, like, run that back. Run that back. This is why they are violent, because that's how they express that same sentiment. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
That's
Yeah,
why. That's the answer, bro. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? We don't give them the outlet to be able to, express that. So it comes out in this macho way, man. And we think that shit
that's
is,
absolutely
and
right.
we glorify it. My bad.
Right.
Go ahead. Keep going, man. My bad.
Well, I have a so somebody told me once. He was saying that the difference between girl dads, because you and I are girl dads, and the difference between girl dads and dads who have boys is that we're emotional, right? And he was saying it like in a negative sense. And I own it, you know what I mean? Because I've always been an emotional guy, but I was like, the emotion, my go-to emotion was anger, and I had to start
Right.
dealing with my own shit, whether it was daddy issues or whether it was whatever it was, whether it was childhood trauma. I had to deal with my own shit as to why my go-to emotion was anger, right? And so once I discovered other emotions and allowed myself to experience other emotions and display other emotions besides anger, I feel like I became more of a human being, more of a functional grown up. And I attribute that to being a girl dad to my daughters, because it's like,
Mm,
can't if you have I have a 6 and a 7 year old, but when they were much younger, all I had to do was just bark at them. You know what I mean? Like, definitely don't even need to spank them, but I could raise my voice out of frustration, not realizing, that I'm scaring the shit out of them.
right.
I think I'm just this little 5'10" guy who has
Right.
mediocre build, but to them I'm a giant, and so I had to
Giant.
start finding, yeah, so I had to find a way to tap into other emotions besides just being angry. So when it comes to fatherhood, man, and emotionalism, I mean, would you say, I mean, how does emotionalism play into the way that you father? Are you an
Oh,
emotional
oh man.
are you an emotional father,
Uh,
or did
I
you have
wasn't
an
at
emotional
first.
father?
No, no, no. Pops is stern, bro. The
Yeah,
only emotion that with Pops had, Pops is, actually, you know what? Let me stop. Let me give the man credit. That man was a good time. He know how to, what I'm saying, he know how to laugh and have a good time. The two
yeah,
emotions though were anger and that. You know what I
and
mean?
anger and
Like,
that.
you,
Yeah,
you knew when he was mad, yo. You knew when he
yeah,
was mad, man. So, but You know when he could have a good time too. And my dad used to,
Yeah.
he
He
used
wasn't
to
just an
party it up,
angry
man.
guy. Yeah, he
Right,
wasn't just an
right.
angry.
But as far as the emotional and all that other, I mean, not emotional. I'm sorry, because that is emotional, but just the crying part,
Yeah.
all that. Yeah, I never seen my dad cry, man. Straight up.
But you just did
I
it.
don't
You
think I
just
ever
did it.
will.
You just did it.
What's that?
You, you just did it. When you're talking about crying, you like, yeah, crying. You did it.
Yeah,
That's what they tell us to
yeah.
do, right? Yeah, they tell
Well,
us to
well, well, well.
downplay,
I'm
to
the
diss
only
that
reason
emotion.
yeah, you're right. You're right. And the only reason I'm doing that is because it's in reference to him. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, it's me. For me, it's all right. Like I said, it became late. It became late in the game when I want to say, emotional with my daughters, because I wanted them
Yeah.
to see that I was a real person. I wanted them to
Yeah.
see like whatever was going on. That's the effect that it had on me, and that again, I'm not a robot. I'm a real dude, just like them. We live and breathe. I wanted them. I just wanted them to have that piece of me too, man. As well, man. Because you like I just alluded to, you see all the rest, right?
Right.
And it's endless abundance. I mean, it's unlimited supply of that.
Of the
But
other
the
of the
the
other
stuff
emotions.
the vulnerable things, the things that, like I said, that kind of connects them to you. Again, it makes you more human to them. That kind of gives them more self-confidence as well for feeling that way too. You know what I mean? That's the other part,
Right.
right? Because sometimes you get insecure about those short. You categorize them as shortcomings, right? But
Right.
again, so like I said, hopefully that displaying that gives them a little bit more comfort in their lives as well. So yeah, I'm
Man.
cool with it. I probably would have been cool with
Yeah.
it if I had boys as well, man. To be honest with you, because just
Yeah.
for the point that we made earlier, man. Emotions are free, right? We're humans. We're spiritual
Yeah.
beings having a human experience. So if you
Right.
can't experience that, then what are you here for?
That's right.
So
That is so. I would say, being able to relate to your children, on an emotional level, being a father who's more emotional or taps into other emotions besides anger and laughter, is important. Like you said, to relate to be better relatable to your kids. Um, for me, it was that, but also it was trying to heal myself. I guess you could say,
mm,
like like trying to like a therapeutic exercise, basically. Like, follow me with this. If you only allow yourself, like in the wide array of human emotion, if men and fathers and husbands are only allowing themselves two emotions, what happens to all the rest of that shit? It becomes a stroke, or it
mm,
becomes alcoholism, or it becomes some kind of
mm.
a sex addiction, or it becomes abusive.
Or they blend, or they
Yeah,
blend into
yeah,
the two. It's either one or
yeah,
the other.
yeah.
That's
But
crazy. Yeah.
so when I started allowing myself to be more vulnerable or just display my emotions, I feel like it was a form of therapy. Like I was becoming a better person, like I said, more functional. So it enhanced my relationship with my kids, like you said, because they could see who I really was.
Yep.
But
Yep.
also, but I started knowing who I really was. Like it's power. It's, if you have an anger issue, which I did and maybe still do, there's some power in naming it. So when I would check in with myself and feel myself getting angry, I would say I'm angry. Rather
Mm.
than like rather than just trying to write it off as, no, you did this and such. No, I ain't mad. No, such and such. No, if you just check in with your
Nah,
emotion,
man.
yeah. Or like sometimes you're not angry. Sometimes what I would do, because I only had two emotions, what I would do is like I would have, say was having, my wife said something, in passing to me, right? And I would get mad. But really I wasn't angry. What I was my feelings were hurt, or
Uh-huh.
I felt embarrassed, or I
Yep.
felt insecure. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like,
Exactly
and
that.
without knowing how to name those other emotions, I'm just like, man, fuck you. Like now we fighting and I'm angry, but really all I had to do was say, yo, I ain't appreciate how you said that because it made me feel some type, right?
And that's that blend. That's why I said how it
Yeah,
meshes in. You know what I mean? Like it either is
yeah,
gonna go to one or the other, right? And most likely it's gonna be on the anger side, and that's the only thing we know how to really express. And that's
yeah,
the acceptable, emotion from a man.
yeah. That's the
He
acceptable. Yeah,
He's just tripping. He just,
Yeah.
he just, and
Get
then
angry.
it's funny, like a good woman to know too. She knows exactly what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
What
he
it,
tripping because his boss ain't paying attention to him. You know what I
right.
mean?
Right.
Like she'll call
Uh-huh.
it for what it really is, but like you just
Right.
see anger. You know what I'm saying? It's wild.
You just see
And but
anger.
yeah, but
Yeah.
we definitely got to learn to corral that though, bro. That's true. That's a true statement. We have to learn to be able to just say, look, like I'm sad right now, and I'm gonna bust a couple tears, man. Like there's nothing soft about
Yeah.
that because you're like right. There's
Nah.
nothing really soft about that because I mean it's exactly how you feel. Why are you denying
Right.
that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like maybe that is your body's way of saying, just like you talk about healing. Maybe that's your body's way of extracting or kind of pushing out maybe
Right.
that negativity, right? Because that's what your body does. It expels toxins, right? It expels,
Right.
things away from his body that it doesn't need or want. So maybe that's
Oh yeah.
necessary. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely. Oh, you onto something there. But you know, and how about this for the guys, for our fathers out there, or just all our guys. Period. If you can't, you still are having a hard time accepting crying. How about this? Um, think of it in terms of strength, right? Like when you go to the gym and you work out your muscles, is it weak because you sweat? Right?
Mm,
Is your sweat a sign of weakness? Right? No,
yeah.
it's a sign of strength. It's a sign of strength. It's a sign of you working out, right? So think of your tears in the same way, man. When you emote in certain ways, it makes you a stronger person. It makes you a better person. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You're on something there,
Mm,
Dave. I like that. So
yeah. Heavy.
before we finish this set, let me get just a little, I don't know, maybe heavy, not too heavy though, but like do you here I am. Do you think that you father in the way that you were fathered?
No.
Okay.
Subconsciously, there's certain things that you did pick up, right? Like so, me being frugal, right? I ain't ashamed to
Yeah.
admit it. It's made us, it's kept us this long, right? But me being frugal, my oldest daughter is the same. She's a facsimile, bro. Like she look at it, she's like comparing stuff. Like, wait, but this got like 3 extra ounces, and it cost this like that. She's a stickler like me when it comes to financial. So there's certain things that you don't even have to teach that they just pick up from, right? Like,
Right.
but do I? But do I? No, I don't. Like I said, I think because I do have my dad had 2 boys. I have 3 girls, and
Yeah.
you definitely have to adjust for that, man. And this day and age in this society, bro, you really have to because they had the iron fist. We don't have the iron fist.
Uh,
You know what I'm saying?
uh,
That's taboo. So there's
yeah.
certain, there's certain, I guess, methods. Methods had to change.
Uh, yeah.
Right? You had to use this more. I would say you have to use this more. I have to use this more than my parents. You
Yeah.
know, and these kids come well equipped now.
Oh
Social
yeah.
media
Hell yeah.
is training them up very well, bro. Like, I cringe every time I see those videos of that one dude's like, he's talking about how the parents talk to the kids, and then that music comes on, and he's like clowning the parents, like, yo, I'll take you out of
Yeah.
this world. It's like, yeah, then you go to jail, like that wild shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I trip on that because there's so much truth in that humor, man. Right? It's like
Yeah.
99.9%, and that's exactly what happens with us, man. Like we are handcuffed because they're informed, they're enlightened. Like we didn't know what BCW was, right? I mean, you
Hell
did
no.
kind of. You kind of knew, right? But like that wasn't a
Right.
hotline. That wasn't something that
Nah.
you was gonna pull that trigger,
Oh
right? You
nah.
wasn't doing that.
Hell no.
You know what I mean?
Hell no.
So
Not at
right,
all.
right. So again, these kids they put you on blast. You know what I mean? So yeah. So as far as me, nah. And I think I'm a little lighter hearted. I'm just not as disciplined with them that like my parents were though with me. Like I think I'm a little more lax. That's probably my shortcoming too though. I wish I was a little bit more stern and gave them more responsibility. And I think because I had girls, I felt like it was my responsibility to
Your
take care of
responsibility.
everybody.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like I said. So I tripped on that, but I got better later on because I felt like I had too much on my plate. Right? That's
Yeah.
it's terrible, but that's
Hey,
what went down.
I'm glad that you realized it though, man, because you're still young enough to, because that shit affects your health. You know what I mean? Like that's why a lot of fathers end up, in the hospital.
Yeah, yeah,
Because they're holding in stress. They don't tap into other emotions, and they're taking everything on. You know, rather than
yeah,
using their partners or delegating responsibility to the kids, and so kudos for that.
You know, this thing.
I definitely don't. I'm definitely not fathering the way that I was fathered. Um,
Good or bad?
I'm not even. Yeah. I'm trying to be what I would consider better. My dad was like
Okay.
I would say I would say I had my dad was the same way. I never really would see my dad angry. My dad would like if he was angry, he was like more of a walk off type person. Like you could feel it in his energy. He
Mm,
has a big he's not a big guy, but he has a big energy. When he enters the room, most of the time people know he's there. Um, and if he's
well,
angry, his silence screams. Never remember my dad like really screaming or anything like that. My dad is like a comedian kind of, really funny guy. But he's one of those people like if he is upset, you're gonna know just by him not saying anything. But yeah, I'm super present in my kids' lives, and I would say I don't feel like I was fathered. My father wasn't really like super present. My father was around, but he wasn't really super present. So
hmm.
I don't think being present in the way that fathers are now, I don't think that was important to my dad. He didn't see that, and for a long time I blamed my pops for that, and once I started to really reevaluate how I felt about my dad, I started realizing like a lot of times we are the product of our environment in certain ways. So my pop,
Yeah.
like what kind of pops did my pops have? You know what I mean? I don't even know because
Right.
I never met the man, right? So my pops is from Georgetown, South Carolina. My dad is like a man's man. He fixes everything. He's an electrician. He drove trucks. He's one of them rough hand guys. He has rough hands.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he had fundamentals that he believed in. Like he wore like work pants and stuff most of the time, but he'll put on a suit and stuff. He believed in paying a check. Him and my grandfather used to be that way. They would fight over the
Right.
check. He prided himself on being a provider. And I don't think he really prided himself on being present. I think he almost might have been a little embarrassed when he found out that I was doing things like that he didn't have anything to do with. Like if I was having successes that he didn't know about, he would feel a little embarrassed. But so I think
Wow.
in that sense, the way that I was fathered influences the way that I'm fathering now. But I'm not fathering the way my pops did. Like my
Huh.
dad, my dad was an electrician, right? I have a outlet in my bathroom, in my master bathroom right now that doesn't get any power. And I haven't been able to figure it out. And I'm gonna have to hire an electrician. I'm like, there's no reason why I should have to hire an electrician. Because my dad,
Uh,
you know. So with my kids,
yeah.
yeah. So with my daughters,
I got you. I got you. I
yeah,
got what you're saying.
yeah, like
Uh-huh.
just last weekend, the Allen the furniture is used as an Allen screw, a lot of furniture does. So the legs were wobbly on the chairs, so I had the 6-year-old and the 7-year-old like digging in the bag, finding the Allen wrench, and we went through like what's a Phillips head, what's a flathead. I showed them the different bits on the drill. It's like I let them screw in I let them fix the furniture, and my dad didn't really do that with me. So I would say in that sense, I'm fathering differently.
No, I got you.
Yeah,
And yeah, you're
yeah,
right. And it's funny you bring that up. And I'm not ashamed to mention this, but I was told the same thing. But again, at least I was there and I opened the doors to be, to receive that and to hear it and to make changes on it before it was too late. Because
ah,
I'm similar to your dad as far as being that the DIY rough and tumble, the guy that's
yeah,
there and is doing that feels like they're doing so much that those little things are not necessarily not my job, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like this, it's hard to explain. It's one of those
yeah,
things where you fall into a certain role for sure, wholeheartedly.
yeah,
And those other things, I don't know if we're unsure that we're capable of doing or we don't want to do, but the being there is almost, that's one of those emotion things. Like we don't,
yeah.
you know, man, I got the thought on the tip of my tongue, but I
Uh-huh,
can't express it. But
uh-huh.
it's one of those things, like I said, I think it's more of an emotion thing, where, we're scared of that. I guess we're scared to confront those feelings as well for ourselves. And those other things, I don't know if you're not, if we're unsure that we don't want to do, but and to really get that
Mm.
deep. You know what I mean? So I think we
Yeah.
leave it up to maybe the the emotional the I guess the emotional half, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. You know, I guess the woman's side of the business to really be there and to nurture in that sense.
Right.
But
Right.
we are capable of doing that as well, and I think it means more when it comes for
Absolutely.
us because of that I guess that accepted societal role.
Right.
So I
Absolutely.
think and I've actually had breakthroughs just being vulnerable and actually like changing up my style and talking to him like a human being and shit, man. Because
Yeah.
opposed to being that big figure, like you said, like that 10 foot tall giant, just actually being vulnerable,
Right.
but then becoming that giant again when need be, right?
When need
You
be.
know what
Yeah,
I'm,
absolutely.
you know
Yes,
what I
sir.
mean? So showing that
Yeah.
versatility and
The
that
versatility.
just being a human. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
real talk.
Just being
So
a human. And it's
yeah.
like I think we need to remember that this shit is, I mean, hereditary is what I would say. It's not necessarily hereditary because it's not in your DNA. But I would say it's passed down, So like whether your dad was there and um and you're trying to do what he did, whether he was there and you're trying to do what he didn't do, whether he wasn't there and you're trying to be present, regardless of what your experience was with your father, is playing out in the way that you father your kids.
Oh
So
yeah.
your kids are gonna parent the way that you're parenting them. That's what we need to keep in mind. It's just hereditary, like with being passed down. So when it comes to our daughters, I'm going to expect my daughter to choose a guy that is that mimics the way that I fathered her, right? Like I want her to choose a guy that is tapped into his emotional side, but he can fix things in the house too. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who, yes, yeah,
Yeah.
somebody that doesn't think that it's just her job to cook and realizes that he needs to be able to cook and clean too. I would expect my daughters to select a guy like that because that's what I'm showing them that I am. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. All right, man.
Right. It's always
I
it's,
got it.
it's always dope when like your kids can say, "Yo, my dad's macaroni" or "My dad's blah blah blah" is
Yeah,
the
that's what
illest,
they
right?
say about you. Yeah, that's what they
But
say
yeah, but
about you.
like like I could be domestic. You know what I mean? I could do whatever
Yeah.
I want. So can you?
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's
So can you?
like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. So
But
can
yeah, that's
you?
pretty cool.
All right. I got a full sweat going on here, man. What's our last circuit?
All right. Well, see, I kind of got ahead of you guys, but I was doing a dumbbell align. I was on the bench, but you don't have a bench, right? So we'll just do a stand
Ah,
up for you. But see, for folks that have benches, right? What we doing here, and the reason why this is effective is because you get to isolate that bicep, right? So I'm gonna get a small weight here, show you guys what I'm talking about. So like as you're leaning here, right? There's nothing really. Your arms are hanging, right? There's nothing to
yeah,
this, right? It's just just right on that fulcrum, right? Right on that pivot
yeah,
point. Boom. Simple bicep
yeah,
exercise. Nothing, there's no, you trying to rock your body to get the weight up. It's
yeah.
just straight up arm work. Boom. Right? Nothing
Right.
to it. So you lean back. You can't really cheat with this, man. And then you're getting that
Yeah.
full range of motion all the way down to where your elbows extend out. You see that?
Uh
So
huh.
simple as that. Just coming up with it. That's
What
simple.
about that? What about that preacher curl? I mean, that preacher. The
Oh
prayer. What
yeah.
is it? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
could do
waiter, the
that.
waiter curl. Okay,
The
yeah,
waiter
you could do
curl.
the
I can
waiter.
do that while I'm
Yeah,
standing. Yeah.
definitely that. So let me get a weight here. Show the fam.
I'm gonna
All
use.
right. So
I'm gonna use the kettle.
cool. You're gonna hold yeah, you're gonna hold it. If you use the kettle, yeah, you can get away with that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you wanna
Uh huh.
hold it like a platter, two hands up on her. And then, again, you don't wanna swing this into your jewels, man. You wanna keep it here and bring it up. And when you use heavy weight on this, man, it really works.
Yeah, you need to be alright. I'm using a 30 pound. I don't feel like walking across the gym.
I
Um,
hear you.
but this is gonna get the job done. If you do a
Yeah.
lighter weight, do higher rep. But think of it's waiter because it's like, yeah, sir, yeah, ma'am, would you
Yep.
like some more? Yeah, I'll take some
Yeah.
more. I like this exercise. What we doing? What we doing for the triceps? Oh man.
Triceps. Triceps, we're gonna do a tricep push-up.
Oh,
Like
tricep push up.
like what I was just
The
doing.
diamond,
All right, so
the
diamonds,
diamond joint. Yeah.
boom, put them together. Where we at? There we go. Up,
There you go.
boom. and legs, kind of shoulder width apart or even further, right? You can cheat a little bit on this exercise as far as the legs, because this is a tough exercise to stabilize if you're starting off. And then you just coming
Yeah.
down. And you see how my elbows flare?
Yeah.
Let me give myself some room here. All right. So my elbows flare out to be able to use those triceps. Boom. You see that? And I'm
Yeah.
touching my hands.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw the hole? You saw the hole? Yeah.
Uh,
So I'm touching the. Yo, what Sean called me, a cyborg? Yeah.
so all of our guests, all our super set guests, we have a name for you. What did our last guest? Spec. She was like, yeah, he always comes with extraordinary. She almost called you
Yeah,
extra, but
yeah.
she put extraordinary workout today.
Wow, wow.
The
That's messed up.
extraordinary workout today. Nah, that's not messed up. That's
It was
good.
adobo. It was
Adobo.
adobo.
Oh yeah. Saffron. The saffron.
Yes,
You always gotta
sofrito,
put the
sofrito.
safrito on it.
Yeah, that's the next.
All
So
right.
that's the next circus. Yeah, good
Cool.
mixture of calisthenics and
All
weights.
right. So one other question I wanted to pose to you, man, is like, okay, so mothers, they take in the seed, they nourish the seed, they grow it
Oh, full.
into a full human being, and then they produce a baby, right? After they produce a baby, they hold it close and near and dear to their bosom. They
Yep.
feed it from their own breast, right? You know, mama's baby, right? So when it comes to unconditional love, it seems like obvious that a mother can have unconditional love for their child as it grows up. They can remember, pushing this baby out, or they can remember like hearing it, feeling its heartbeat inside of them, and all of this, connectedness. A dad, he shoots off. He puts out, right? And while she's holding the baby, he's like off working or whatever he's doing, right? And a lot of times it's easier for a dad to walk away. Not all the time, but a lot of times it's easier for a dad to walk away from a child because they don't feel that same connectedness. Um, Now, when it comes to unconditional love, do you think that? Do you think that? I'm just gonna say it in terms of fathers. Do you think that fathers have true unconditional love for their
I
kids?
don't think. I don't think anybody has unconditional. I don't think that's a
You don't think?
what they will
You don't
call
think it exists?
Christ-like. You understand? I don't think that exists. No, I think once you get to, all right. So look, man, I listened to this guy, this like metaphysics thing, and basically, he talks about our journey in life, and pretty much like Christ being that example. Okay, not necessarily being the
Right.
Messiah, but being the example, for all of us, right? And
Yeah.
Christ had, or I mean, it's debatable, but Christ had unconditional love, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where we all want to be, but I don't think it exists. I don't think it actually naturally exists. I don't think as human beings we have that in us. I think everything has conditions. Everything.
Hmm.
The fact that how we love and how we look at women and how we fall in love with women, how is that not conditional? You understand what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
This woman has the right. This woman has the right body type. She has the right mind. She has this. She has that. That's conditions, brother. Right? There's no such thing as unconditional love. I'm sorry. So man, woman, whatever you want to swing it, that doesn't exist. I mean, can you imagine like the worst thing your family could do to you? You think you come back from that and be like, yo, I'm gonna break bread with you the next on Sunday. Like, no,
Right.
it doesn't happen. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like people, like wars have been fought, you know what I'm saying, for petty differences. You understand what I'm saying? And so like
Right.
unconditional love does not exist. You understand what I'm saying? It just doesn't. I mean, I'm looking at it from a broad perspective, a broad spectrum, not just family life, but like, no, it doesn't
Yeah.
exist. That's not. Everything has conditions. That's life. I wish it didn't. Or again, but that is the real journey, right? To actually find that, to be able to find that, to find what that means, to find what that feels like, yo. I
Right.
think that's the ultimate goal. Giving life meaning, right? Is being able to find that place in your heart and your being to be able to love everything the same way. That's crazy. That's a crazy thought,
Yeah.
man.
That's a crazy
You know?
thought. I think our children expect unconditional love. I think they're entitled to the sense where they expect unconditional love. And you
Hmm.
know what comes to mind when it comes to unconditionally loving your kid? Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson comes to mind, and that's because in Mo Better Blues, I think it was, he was like, "Mama, you want me to do that dance, Mama? Look, do you remember that scene?" I think it was Mo
Yo,
Better Blues. Samuel L. Jackson was a crackhead, and Ossie Davis and his wife,
oh, you talking
they
about
played
Jungle Fever? Was it
Jungle
Jungle Fever?
Fever. I think it might have been Jungle Fever. And he was a crackhead. He used to come home, a grown ass man, but he would come home all cracked out and try to get money from his parents. And they would let him in. And the dad would always be like, "Don't let him in. Why are you letting him in?" And the dad was always trying to cut him off, but the mom just couldn't.
Yep.
She couldn't cut
Yep.
him off. He would
Yep.
come in and he would do the dance and say, "You know you want to see me dance, Mama. You know
Yep.
you want to see me dance." That's not.
Yep. Yep.
Yo, y'all have workout buddies. If you haven't seen Jungle Fever, I think that's a movie. If you haven't seen that, you gotta go watch
It
that.
is. It is.
Just
It
what I
is.
said.
It is
Yeah,
Jungle Fever.
go watch that. But that's what plays in my mind because I think it's conditional too. You know what I mean? Like if you have a kid who is just constantly like just draining your life, you know, like what are you to do? You know,
Yeah.
what are you to
Yeah.
do? Especially if they're grown up. You know, it's like eventually you have to cut them off. Do you stop loving them though? You may love them. You may still love them, right?
You well, and I guess that's the unconditional part of it, right?
Right.
Not sure, right? What they really mean, you know. And then if you're gonna spin it like that, not sure what that means. I get it. Like you have to love first, and then I guess it becomes unconditional at some point, maybe. Right? But like it starts conditionally, and then becomes that, especially like with children. Not sure, but they, now like I said, you just think of the foulest shit that they could possibly do to you. Then think about your emotion and how you would react to that. Like like I said, you're gonna invite them. You're gonna invite them over to Sunday brunch. Like it's gonna be that real. Like is that do you cut them off? Do you know what I mean? Like exactly, like for life, right? Like like I said, so you got to think about the foulest thing. Like just unconditional. What that means. Think about what that means. Unconditional.
Is like the foulest thing.
Everything's fair game, right? Unconditional.
Right.
Nothing is worse than the next. There's no greater sin than the next. Everything's cool. And even in the Bible, it states that blasphemy is like one of the biggest, like the greatest sin that you can't recover from. So what the fuck do we mean? What does unconditional mean? Come on, man.
I feel you with that.
You missed me with that shit.
Yeah. Got to be some conditions, right? Like you can't just be treating me any kind of way you want just because you're my kid. You facts about that.
So,
man, I feel like we got a good workout, man. I just wanted to ask you one more question or pose one more question before we get out of here. Also, consider a PE if you have one. What would you say is like your ultimate goal? What's your ultimate goal with being a father?
I want my kids to be better than I was triple fold. Yeah. I want them to be independent. I want them to have happy lives. I don't, not dependent on, whatever job they pick or it's not dependent on their job occupation or, their physical life. I just want them to be, no kidding, happy with themselves and, happy with their skin, happy with who they are and what they've become. That's the most important thing for me, man. Because all the rest of that, man, the material things and all that other stuff, man, like I was, thinking to myself yesterday, man, after big win, you start looking at the next step. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You start looking at the next step. Nothing's ever just good enough. You know what I mean? So like that happiness, that journey starts from within. You know what I mean? Or it starts and ends within. You know what I mean? So nothing external will make you happy. So I think that just being genuinely happy with themselves is the greatest goal that you can, like I said, they could accomplish, man. Because I'm still finding that, right?
Yeah,
you still like I said,
yeah.
When you're feeling down, you still got retail therapy, you still got those little pick-me-ups, you know what I mean? Like, but you just can't make yourself happy, right?
Right.
I'm trying to find that.
True.
I'm trying to find that.
Yeah. I would agree with you on that, man. That's one of my ultimate goals is for my kids to have like fruitful, functional, successful lives. Not for them to be successful in the sense that they necessarily make a whole lot of money. Of course, I want them to be well-to-do, or I want them to be able to take care of themselves and their families and build wealth. But my ultimate goal for fatherhood is legacy. That's the first thing that comes to mind. It's like when I die, it's like I want my kids to I don't want them to have to force good memories into their mind. You know, yeah, I don't want them.
Right,
them to,
right,
yeah.
right.
What was good about him? Yeah, he was.
Right.
He was an asshole, but I want them to just be like, like I want,
Wow.
my if I never meet my grandkids, if I die before I get a chance to meet my grandkids, I want them to be like, yo, have tons of stories to tell, tell my grandkids, about me, like where my grandkids feel like they know me because of the legacy that I left through my children.
Well,
That would
I
be.
can reassure you, Jay. I can reassure you, you're not gonna have a problem with that. You got
Appreciate that, yeah.
you got that locked up.
Yeah, I
And
appreciate
yeah,
that, man.
you know what, man? As you say that, another goal comes into mind is just having them to be able to come to you with damn near anything, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and then being able to just look back on that as like kind of how I look at my relationship with my parents at this point, as an older man, like, yo, like they get it, they get me. We can talk like real human beings together, and break bread, and actually share our emotions, and be real with each other. And I think that's the biggest thing. There's nothing that inhibits that. There's nothing in the way of actually, us letting each other know how we feel about each other and how we feel about life, whatever have you, and just talk, just unbridled. And that's what I appreciate the most, and that's what that's another one of those goals. And that's actually starting to happen, more than ever. You know how it is, man. Kids play their cards close to the vest. They don't like to really divulge too much to you. And I think we're starting to open up those channels, man, those doors. And that's another big goal for me, man, as well.
Dave, Dave, what you got a PE for today?
All right, man. I think I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with with the topic, man. We're gonna go with paternal excellence, man. That's what we're exhibiting every day, man.
Yeah.
And remember remember the saying, man. Any progress towards your goal is success, man. So don't get caught up, man. If you're stagnant, don't get caught up, man. Like I said, you're making progress, man. Just keep your head up.
Yeah, man. And you know what? I got a PE also. I'm gonna say push emotion. Push emotion. All right. Yeah.
All right.
So I think that goes hand in hand with what we were talking about with fatherhood. I want to challenge our workout buddies today. Embrace all of your emotions. And reevaluate whether you just have those two that we discussed. The happy and the anger. So push emotions, man. Yo, happy birthday, bro. Happy birthday, man. I'm so glad you were born, bro. So glad you were born.
Man, I appreciate you, man.
All our workout buddies, happy Father's Day to y'all. You've been in PE with Dave and Jay, where we build while we build. Yeah.
I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing to sign down.